Hey, what's going on? Tony Scott here on this Tuesday. Looks like, all day it's looked like it's about like 7:45. It just looked that way, at least over here in Arlington, where it's overcast and it just looks like it wants to rain like really bad, but it hasn't happened. So they say there should be some showers later tonight, but nothing, like it's going to like change your life or anything. So I'm just saying. I'm Tony Scott, Smooth R&B 105.7 Studios is where I am right now. I do a radio show here from 2 to 7 in Dallas, Monday through Friday and most Saturdays. And time for Tony's Tea. Look at some entertainment headlines grab my attention today. Tank is being sued by a member of the Black Eyed Peas. Kenny Too Smooth is the lead guitarist of the Black Eyed Peas, and he does like YouTube videos, tutorial, instructional videos on music and stuff like that. So he has a lot of compositions that he puts up, and he has them all copyrighted. And he says one in particular, he's alleging was taken and used for Tank's song Only One that's on his Savage album. And if you go to krnb.com and click on the story, you'll see Kenny's version and Tank's version, and you tell me what you think. Because we talked about that earlier on the show, and everybody thought that Tank needs to write the check because there's a problem there. He's not the only one being sued, though. So is Atlantic Records. And I believe somebody, what's the guy's name? Jimmy Newt or something? Johnny Newt? Something like that. But he wants consequences and ramifications. I don't know if you've been following the story on the TV series Lethal Weapon. It got renewed for a third season, but the guy who plays Martin Riggs, and his name is Clayne Crawford, has been fired from the show. He was Damon Wayans' co-star, right? A very important role, the role that Mel Gibson played in the Lethal Weapon movies with Danny Glover. And he's been fired. There's been a series of on-set incidents, none of them good. One of them apparently left Damon Wayans' head cut. And Damon posted about it on Twitter and then made his account private, probably at the urging of the network. But by then, Hollywood Reporter had grabbed some screenshots, and I'll link you to those if you want to see what he wrote and see the picture of his head bleeding at krnb.com. And I'm loving this Taraji P. Henson engagement story. You know, her boyfriend, Kelvin Hayden, her boyfriend of over 2 years, proposed to her, and she says she cried so hard when he proposed that her eyelashes fell on the floor. They just came right off. They just came right off. And she says she should have seen the proposal coming. She says she noticed a look in his eyes, but she didn't put it together. And she says she saw some violins coming out, and then she turned around, and he was right there on his knee with the ring. And quite a ring, too. You can check all that out again at krb.com. Jada Pinkett Smith is off to a very good start with her Facebook Watch series, Red Table Talk. It's a talk show you can watch on Facebook with her mother and her daughter Willow. And on the show, she's had her husband Will Smith's first wife, Cherie Zampino, and they've talked about some pretty interesting things. She buried a 17-year beef with Gabrielle Union. She's talked about Tupac. And Willow was on the show and talked about how she walked in on Will and Jada having sex, and Jada didn't even know it until Willow said that on the show. But then she broke Jada's heart, Willow did, when she revealed that she used to cut herself. She used to cut. When she was like 9 years old, she had this song called Whip My Hair, and it was like a big deal. And for a 9-year-old, that was a lot for her, because she was like, well, what's next in life? And she started doing this to herself, and Jada was not aware of this. And it was very, as a parent, it was very painful to watch. And it'd be easy to criticize Jada. This is why you don't let your kids do. You let them go too young. You can say all that what you want. Bottom line is Jada didn't know, and she was heartbroken about it. So there's that for you to check out too. Let's see. Rihanna, I told you about the intruder, Eduardo Leon, who's 26 years old. He broke into her house. He broke into a house not too long ago, thinking it was Rihanna's house, but it wasn't her house. So he broke into her house. He found out which one was hers, and she wasn't home. She was in New York getting ready to launch her lingerie line. This was a few days ago. And so I guess he decided, well, maybe she'll come back. I'll just stay and, charge my phone and stuff. And he did. And he set off an alarm. The security company called police. Police came to the house, and they ended up tasing Eduardo Leon. And Eduardo says, you know what? I didn't want to rape her. I just wanted to have sex with her. Eduardo, you're doing it wrong, man. You're just doing the whole thing wrong. You're doing the whole thing. The whole thing is just wrong. Just saying. And he's been charged with felony stalking and burglary. So Michael B. Jordan has apparently given the Wakanda greeting one too many times. So he told the reporter, don't give me that Wakanda thing, man. I'm from Oakland, okay? I wasn't from Wakanda. In the movie, I was from Oakland, wasn't from Wakanda. I'm not doing the Wakanda greeting anymore. Now, I think he was just playing around. But I thought that was pretty funny. There's actually a video you can watch for it on the website at krb.com. So this royal wedding is coming up. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. Saturday morning, right? And her father was going, then he wasn't going, then he was going, and now apparently he's not going because he's having heart surgery tomorrow morning at 7:30. Thomas Markle says he will not be able to walk his daughter Meghan down the aisle on Saturday. He won't even be able to go to England because he is having this major surgery tomorrow morning. So our best wishes to him, get well, and I believe her mother is going to be the one who walks her down the aisle. Here in DFW, 10 airline workers were indicted that worked at DFW for allegedly plotting to smuggle methamphetamine, explosives, and guns onto planes. 7 of the 10 worked for American Airlines subsidiary Envoy Airlines. The other 3 worked for Spirit Airlines. Somebody posted, you mean I can get arrested for plotting something? I didn't even do it. I just plotted it. Well, I think it depends on what the plot was. You know, it's like if you plot to set a bomb off somewhere and you hadn't got around to doing it yet, but they found out about it, they're coming for you. They're not going to wait for you to do it, right? And these guys, you know, and it was 10 of them. Yeah, I mean, it's in that area of the law. I'm not quite sure how that works, but it was enough for them to get indicted, arrested. I don't know how that works. When you're indicted, I don't think you're arrested, right? You're just brought in, and then they go from there. Is that how that works? I'm thinking that might be how it works. The President Obama Presidential Center is in a little bit of jeopardy because park activists, they want to stop this. They're claiming that there was a bait and switch going on here. A lawsuit was filed over the center. It's questioning how plans have been developed, how they've been rolled out and brought to the folks of Chicago. Chicagoans is what they're called. Protect Our Parks Incorporated is a nonprofit. They're the ones who filed the suit. And they said organizers have pulled a bait and switch with marketing the center as a presidential library. They're saying, you know, you guys came to us and said y'all wanted to put a presidential library here. And then little by little, it started changing. Now y'all want to put like a yoga studio here. And y'all want to put, there was something else they want to put there. And that's the problem. This has nothing to do with the president. You know, it has to do with the folks who are submitting the plans. They keep tweaking the plans, getting away from what they said it was going to be, a presidential library. Now it's going to turn into like some kind of entertainment district, I think is what they're thinking. So they want to stop everything. Let's sort this out before we go any further. Tell us what you want, and then let's do that. I don't understand why you would need a yoga studio at a presidential center, but maybe I'm not thinking of all the angles here. I'm just saying. It's just kind of odd. So, and the Pittsburgh Steelers minority owner David Tepper is going to buy the Carolina Panthers, and he says he's going to keep them in North Carolina. He's going to pay $2.2 billion for the team, which is a record. The previous record was $1.4 billion when the Buffalo Bills were sold. The Houston Rockets were sold last year for $2.2 billion. The sale is expected to be approved May 22nd. That's like in a couple, it's like next week. So they announced the sale today. They're going to approve it next week. You know why they're going to approve it? Because they don't want to give Diddy and those guys a chance to put in a bigger bid. They want to let's just shut this down. Let's just 2.2 billion sold. That's crazy. But it is what it is, and that's that. So there you go. All right, let's see what you think on any of those stories or something that I may have brought up or didn't bring up. You can comment on that too. By the way, yesterday, as I see Yvonne checking in, the only thing I found was that the LaToya Jackson stroke story was not true at all. She never had a stroke, so there's that. And I think we did cover that yesterday, but I wanted to make sure that we got on board with that. Belinda's in California, and let me slide her over here. And Brenda is in Biloxi, and hi, Roberta Rowe McRoy. All right then, that's a lot. That's a tongue twister. But yes, everybody, good. Hello, Lake Highland in Dallas. Hello, Barbara. How you doing? Richardson's in the house. Yes. Glad to see you guys on board. Jada show is on. It's on. It's on Facebook, Donna. Jada Pinkett Smith has a talk show called Red Table Talk, and it's on Facebook. It's pretty much on demand. You just go and watch it. You go to Facebook Watch. You go to Facebook, and then you just, in the search bar, just type in Red Table Talk, and it'll take you where you need to go to watch it. It's pretty interesting. I mean, her conversation with Will's first wife was very interesting, and Jada was pretty honest about how Will wasn't happy with some of her behavior early on, and Jada admitted she should have fallen back because when she started, I think the way she put it, when she started dating Will Smith, Will was but not divorced. Which is a great way to put it. Legally, he was still attached. So there you go. And Joanne says, I saw the episode about grief and loss with Jada Pinkett and her daughter when she revealed the cutting. I have to applaud the stillness and listening ear of Jada and her mom when you saw clearly they were reliving every moment of that time period and their hurt, imagining the worst. Your heart broke for him, Joanne. Yeah, it was pretty riveting. It was pretty riveting. So, yeah, it's interesting how the whole thing is changing. The dynamic of getting this information out of the multi-platforms that are out there now. It's not just television anymore. It's actually more than that. It's Facebook and YouTube shows, things like that. So the whole game has checked in. Sharon, how you doing? Yes, Barbara, of course, we're praying for Megan and hoping the best for her dad and things like that. So there you go. President Obama deserves. Oh, the president is going to get a library, Donna. Don't let that change your mind. I think these folks. I understand where they're coming from. They're like, look, you guys said you wanted to put a presidential center right here, and that's fine. But now you want to tack on these other things, and that's not part of the presidential center. Oh, well, what the hell's a yoga studio have to do with the presidential center? I mean, I think that's where their concern is. They don't have a problem with the center. It's just all the stuff they're trying to add on, and they're like. That's not what you guys came to us with. Now you're doing the bait and switch thing, and we're not here for that. So, yeah. Which airline video are we talking about, Donna? Please let me know which one. I may have just forgot about it. Evelyn, I'm doing great. Thank you so much. You like Jada's show, but you haven't seen one. Okay. $2.2 billion, Barbara. If you want to buy the I guess that's the going rate for Carolina. The Carolina Panthers. Can you imagine if, like, Jerry Jones decided to sell the Dallas Cowboys, what that price would fetch? Wow. That's crazy. That's a lot of money. Yeah, man. Yeah, you have plenty of time to check out Jada tonight. Anytime, really. I mean, anytime. You're, like, sitting in your car, on your lunch break or something. You can pull it up right there. I mean, you're going to eat through your data plan, but, I mean, still, Michelle says it's a great show. There you go. All right. I don't know, Barbara, our President Barack Obama, First Lady Michelle Obama, also party Let's Move. You're going to get up early Saturday morning at 4 a.m. to watch the wedding? I can tell you who ain't getting up at 4 a.m. to watch a wedding. I got married at 6 in the evening, and they had to wake me up for that. And I was the one getting married. No, I'm just kidding. But oh, man. No, the one you were telling me about, Donna, the video with the sister that made the entire plane deplane because she had a boarding pass that was invalid. It was an old boarding pass, and she just showed her tail, as they used to say. No, I haven't seen that one yet. I just remember you talking about it yesterday, right? Let's see, $42.2 billion for the Dallas Cowboys. Is that what they're worth? Is that what you're telling me, Barbara? They're worth $42.2 billion? That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money, man. That's a ton. That's a ton of money. Wow, crazy. You feel sorry for Megan with all the press. She just wants to be happy. Yeah. I mean, she loves her some Harry, and I never realized just how much, I always heard like, the royalty and all that kind of stuff, but it's in England. It's hard to relate that whole thing like that. But there's a lot of you guys, ladies, guys that are into it. And guys, it doesn't make you soft. It's just, that's something that you're into. But people are really passionate about this. And because, of this wedding that involves an American, and in this case, a biracial, a black woman, a lot of folks are here for that, and that's pretty cool. I think, I think that's cool because it's a great story, So, Erica, thank you so much for saying that you miss me in St. Louis. I appreciate you saying that. I miss St. Louis, I love Dallas though. Don't get me wrong. Dallas is everything, but yeah, St. Louis. I mean, you can't not miss. You know what I'm saying? St. Louis, if you live there for 20-something years, 26, 27 years, it's just one of those things where it's part of your life for a long time. She's getting a lot of bad press in Australia. Well, why is that? You love the royals. I'm like, why is she getting bad press in Australia? Is it because of her estrangement from like her sister and her brother, and they're running with those stories? Is that what they're doing? Because I just, I didn't know there was such a thing as, you hear about everything in Australia. You always hear like good stuff. I didn't know bad press even existed in Australia. I mean, that's not a dig. I'm just saying, every time you hear about Australia, it's always a good thing. Crocodile Dundee and, Outback and stuff, It's like, I should quit while I'm ahead. Oh, man. Her family says she's a bad sister. Oh, I did read some of those allegations and stuff like that. Her brother wrote an open letter to Prince Harry saying you're making a huge mistake and it's not too late to call this wedding off because she's going to disrespect you and disrespect the royal family and this, that, and the other, probably because he didn't get an invite. I think the brother accused Meghan Markle of some shenanigans about you abusing her father's finances for the betterment of her career, and she didn't even say thank you. So there's that. But, I feel kind of bad for her dad because he was, now he's not because he can't, because he's going to have heart surgery in the morning. Our first lady, Michelle Obama, want her, let's move. See, you gotta read this before you put it up because I don't even understand. What the hell does that mean, Barbara? You're typing too fast. You're going too fast. Oh, man. No problem, Yvonne, with the LaToya thing. Somebody, you know what? There's a lot of misinformation. See, the thing is that most people who do like YouTube videos with information, content, things like that, they do great work. But you have some who are in it purely for the money and the gaming of it, as far as trying to get people. So they'll write these headlines or they'll say these outrageous things they know are not true. And then they will, get people in, and it get the views stack up, and then they're in the money. So there you go. So Erica, we're talking about all kinds of stuff, and Evelyn, they're never going to leave Meghan alone. They're not going to leave Meghan alone. Come on, she's a story. She's a story. People want to know. People want to know good and bad, and they'll decide what they believe and all that. But she's a story now. She's going to marry a prince. When was the last time that happened? I know Grace Kelly hasn't been that long, has it? Someone else did it. I'm sure maybe not in England or anything, but maybe in another part of the world. But no, that's celebrities in the world we live in now with social media and instant news and all that. No one gets left. If you're famous, you don't get left alone. That's the price you got to pay. That's true. That's why I'm glad I'm on the bottom rung of show business. I'm in radio. We're very often, for the most part, never seen. We're just heard. My old boss used to always say, he used to hate it when I would say that I was on the bottom rung of show business. Because I was like, well, no one, but back then, we didn't have all this. And I was saying, nobody sees me. They just hear me. So, that's not like being on TV or being in the movies or anything. And Meghan wants to be happy, Brenda. I absolutely agree. And some family members don't want her to be happy. Well, they do want her to be happy as long as, if she'll send them a ticket to England to partake and all that kind of stuff like that. No, her parents divorced when she was 6, is what my understanding is. Let's see. Would I consider doing TV? Sure, I would. Would TV consider doing me? Is the bigger question, Donna, and I think the answer probably is no. Now, I'll tell you a way I could get their attention is if you guys help me promote these videos. Are you willing? Are you willing? Share them, tell people about them, that kind of stuff like that. It goes far. I mean, share it on your Facebook and then share it on your Twitter or Instagram. Just the link to get the Facebook link and just that kind of stuff like that, or get the link off of YouTube when I put it up and stuff like that. So, thank you. Thank God you don't have a face for radio. I've been told otherwise. I've been told, man, you're not attractive. People have been serious. It's funny how people, and I guess as I've gotten older and the medication has taken more of an effect on me, I see things differently now. So when people insult me, I look at it like, and now don't get me wrong, I'll have a bad day where I will tell people, where to go and how to get there. But for the most part, I'm like, you don't walk in my shoes. You have no idea. You have no idea. If I'm having a bad day on the radio, I'm tripping over every word and just can't focus, concentrate, and lose my train of thought and all that kind of stuff like that. Like every break throughout the 5-hour show, I'm having a bad day. Somebody will call and criticize, man, how did you get a job on the radio? You're terrible and stuff like that. Well, you know what? You're not in my life. You're not walking in my shoes. So I give people the benefit of the doubt and let them go. I used to have people call me and they would just bitch and moan, and I would just tell them, feel better? You feel better? You let it out. You feel better now? And some of them would say, yeah, I do actually. Thank you. Because you know what? We're not here to fight each other, man. We're not here to fight each other. Lisa, what's going on? How you doing? Michelle says, Tony, you're a nice looking guy. Just smile. Just smile. Is that what you're saying? Yeah, all right. I don't, John, I'm not familiar with Keith Sweat's new song. I'm not. I'm assuming you're telling me it's pretty good. Barbara thinks I'm a nice looking man. Barbara apparently, though, has an appointment for cataract surgery over the weekend. Riri, thank you so much. Tony, you're actually handsome compared to some radio personalities. Oh, that's funny. That is so funny. Thank you so much. All right, let's get talking about how I look. Let's move on. That's it. Because why is it that police violence on African Americans always brings up people's past? Saw a video of the lady killed instead of tased. Okay. Well, because I think you answered your own question with the question that your answer is in there, right? Police violence on African Americans, because African Americans, for the most part, are not considered civilized people to a lot of people in the world, a lot of people in this country, and it's because of and it's not so much part of it, in my opinion. Anytime something like this happens, you have to own part of it, but the other part is the way the media portrays African Americans, right? Like St. Louis has had the worst kept secret about St. Louis was the racial problems St. Louis had, and it wasn't until Mike Brown was murdered that even started to come out. That was like the worst kept secret in St. Louis was, or the best kept secret in St. Louis was, about St. Louis was the racial problem there, right? And I remember one time watching the news, and they let off with a black man that shot somebody, right? And they showed his picture. And then the next story was about a white man who raped somebody. They didn't show his picture. And then they showed a picture of somebody who robbed some kind of burglary or something, where it was been very easy to get the picture of the person, like at a bank or something. They didn't show his picture. It was a white man. Right, but they will show black people, right, and that creates in people's minds a biased view when it happens. If it happens once, okay, but if it happens over and over and over again, and you know what I'm talking about, right? So that's there, and it builds that bias, that built-in bias, right? And this is why there has to be something wrong when an African American gets shot, gets assaulted by a police officer, gets manhandled by a police officer, whatever. He had to have been doing something wrong. He wasn't doing anything wrong. Well, there's something in his past that was wrong. Well, you know what? He got arrested because he had like one joint on him in 2000. Well, there you go. That's why the police beat his ass 18 years later, right? That's the thing that's so frustrating, right? And a lot of people cannot believe that police do what they get accused of doing, because, and we talked about this before, that's not their reality. In their world, because they don't look like you or me, they don't get that from police. Does it never not happen? No. Nothing's absolute, right? And by far, in a way, there are more great cops than bad cops. But great cops don't get shine because they're doing their job. Right? I mean, that's just a simple part. That's the simple truth. And that's how that works. So I hope I answered your question there, Lachelle. You know, and Erica, you're right. So when they find this information out, it justifies their actions, even though what they find out happened years ago. It justifies what they did yesterday, though. That's the logic, and the way it's spun. You know, and the police department, the police union, especially the one in St. Louis. Who's that turd that used to run the police? Is he still doing that? What's his name? You know who I'm talking about, right? Roy or somebody like that. It's like they could set a family on fire, the police, and he would say, well, you know what? They must have done something wrong, you know, because the police, they don't act out of pocket, you know. It's crazy. It's just crazy, right? You know, the slave mentality. Yeah, well, I mean, there's a segment of society, a large part, in my opinion, of society that believes that people of color, African Americans, Latinos, Asians, are beneath them as a people, right? Because you're a person of color, you're beneath me. This country was founded on that. This country was founded on it. All men are created equal except for black men, because they're only 3/5 of a whole man. Dred Scott, remember that? Remember that? Well, now, how did they pull that one out of their behind, knowing that it says all men are created equal? What is that, the Bill of Rights or something like that? But except for black men, because a black man is only 3/5 of a whole man, because he's black. But this says that all men. It don't say all men except for black men. It says all men, right? It's like, it went on for years, right? It went on for years. How can you condemn somebody based on only because of the color of their skin and then call yourself a Christian? How does that happen? I don't know, but it does. So there's that. All right. Hey, from what I learned, the TV show The First 48 pulled out of St. Louis because of the racial politics. To me, that would have been a great reason to stay. But you know what? Let me tell you something about the First 48, right? You're talking about The First 48, right? The one on A&E. I used to watch that show all the time, and I had to stop watching it because it would put me in a dark space. It would make me very depressed, right? It's a great show, don't get me wrong, but I haven't watched it probably in, I don't know, at least 5 years for sure. I don't even know, but is it still on, first run episodes? Do they still shoot the show, or they just play reruns? But I had to stop for my own sanity. I had to stop. And you know who told me that? My wife. She was like, when you watch that show, she says, you will spend the next day in the bedroom with the shades drawn and the lights off, and you will just lay there. She goes, you got to let that show go. And I never even thought about it. And I was like, man, she's right, right? And I'm not knocking anybody who watches the show and thinks it's a great show. I'm not knocking you at all. I'm talking about me. I couldn't take it. You're better. You can take it. You're better than me. I don't know, but you can take it. Good. God bless you. Enjoy it. I can't do it. I can't do it. So, you know, Michelle says I still can't watch it. Barbara agrees. She's like, yeah, you know, but it's, you know, but not everything is for everybody. I'll just say that. So I gotta go. I gotta get back on the air and do my thing over here. So thank you so much for watching. Share the video. Help me grow the video. You know, grow the platform. Maybe Facebook will give me a show. Follow me on all my social media, Tony Scott Media, except on YouTube. I'm on This and That Media, youtube.com/This and That Media, and subscribe to my channel there, and check the bell to get notified when new videos go up. All right, I appreciate you guys so much. Have a great evening, and talk to you soon.